Hi, Jen Delaney here, and as you know, I think brain spotting is an amazing form of body centered therapy. I recommend it for any stage of your healing journey. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about what being in the tail of the comet means. We as therapists following the client who is the comet. So, if we're taught all these phenomenal protocols, why aren't we using them, or why aren't we directing clients to use them? But clients do want to be guided, but they don't necessarily want to be directed. Or if they do, it's really our responsibility to empower them and let them know that we're not the authority. They can trust their brain to guide the process, as well as body sensations. So, they don't have to know why about everything because our culture is very linear and very thinking oriented. People always want to know, well, why is this happening? Or why? And our job is to keep directing them back to the body because it's really hard to explain brain spotting since, of course, it is experiential. But essentially, in the deep brain, is where trauma is stored. And it's very stream of conscious as we access that place. So it's not linear. We're not thinking through it or why are we doing this. Now, that said, a lot of psychoeducation is important. It's important for us to teach clients about the brain, about physiological responses to trauma, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Doing a lot of teaching is helpful for clients. But as we step out of the teaching, and move into the brain spotting process, we want to stay out of the way as much as possible, and again, in the tail of the comet, which means that the client is guiding the process. And that process is going to look, different for everybody. I might introduce a protocol, and a client might say, I'd like to adjust that, and maybe, let's say I'm saying, let's go ahead and look to the right and check in with the right. Oh, wow. I think I'd like to look up. So, of course, then we allow the client to look up, or let's say we find a brain spot. They might change the brain spot, but anything that I'm directing them to do, it's a mutual exploration. And what clients, as they learn how to listen to their body and how to trust the process of brain spotting, then they become a little more directive and they check in and they go, well, I'd like to close my eyes, or they close their eyes and we don't say, hello, open your eyes. And I think some forms of therapy are more directive. It is more fitting the client into the protocol. And so with brain spotting, it's really adapting the protocol to the client. And so some therapists might feel like that's a little too free form, but really it becomes very natural because the client is leading. So all we have to do is follow. So, and what happens is I think is the more you get to know a client, you might introduce a protocol and they might be like, oh, let's try it, and then we adapt it to them as we go. So, I think guidance is important because, of course, the three qualities children need to develop healthfully is our guidance and nurturing and protection. So we, attune to the client, so that feels very nurturing. Our attunement, our connection with the client, our following the client's process deepens the attunement. And our protection is really setting the frame. We're going to not let you leave too dysregulated, or, we're going to let you know when it's 10 minutes before the session if a client requires that. And also that's helpful to having that backloading. So allowing there to be a frame around the session can feel very protective. And then our guidance is really a collaboration with the client. So I find with extreme cases, you can still do brain spotting to some degree. But it just gets, again, adjusted to the client. We might just have them listening to bilateral music, or just having them tune into their emotion. So we adapt even the degree that we're doing brain spotting to the client. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to understanding what it means by following the client and being in the tail of the comet. Take good care.